This survey examines the Philippines' position in the global economy, its impact on local businesses, and its role in international trade. It compares the country's economic status with others, exploring its wealth, social media influence on marketing and religion, migration for job opportunities, and the environmental effects of deforestation. Additionally, it looks at the Philippines' environmental practices, disasters response, political governance, and economic progress in comparison to other nations. The responses come from the consented participants, including a 25-year-old Filipino teacher and an 18-year-old college student, providing a broad view of these important issues in a global context.
In this part, we're going to understand how multinational companies affect local businesses and how the Philippines protect local industries while also engaging in the global economy. This relates to the topic of globalization and global economy. The participants' responses show different views on how globalization impacts local Filipino businesses. The teacher sees multinational companies as key drivers of innovation and economic growth, helping local businesses thrive by providing new opportunities and creating supply chain links. Meanwhile, the student focuses on how global brands like McDonald's and Starbucks are popular due to trends, social media, and status symbols, which reflect how globalization shapes consumer behavior. Both agree that international companies affect local businesses, but the teacher looks at the bigger picture of economic growth. The student, however, feels that limiting foreign products could help local businesses compete, although they see the value in finding a balance. This reflects how globalization can both challenge and create opportunities for local economies. The presence of multinational corporations in the Philippines also signifies economic growth and development, as these companies often expand in countries with increasing consumer demand and strong market potential. Despite its differences, both participants show how globalization connects the Philippines to the global economy, bringing challenges for local businesses but also opportunities for growth and improvement.
For the global divides and contemporary global governance, this analyzes the Philippines' economic standing, whether it is poor or rich, in comparison to other countries. The participants' responses about whether the Philippines is a poor or rich country reveals important details about its economy. The teacher highlights that the Philippines is falling behind compared to more developed countries. The student adds that 13.6% of Filipinos live below the poverty line set by the World Bank, showing a clear problem with poverty according to World Bank 2023. These statistics indicate that many people still face tough challenges even with a growing middle class. In this part, both the teacher and student discuss wealth inequality in the Philippines. The teacher points out that rural areas often lack access to education, basic services, and even healthcare. The teacher calls this a critical issue, and the student notes that over 50% of Filipinos earn less than minimum wage. This picture illustrates the struggle of a child in a rural area who dreams of education but cannot access it, highlighting a systemic problem. The education situation is concerning, as UNICEF reports that around 2.8 million children are out of school. This shows not just poverty, but also failures in governance when it comes to meeting basic needs. Despite a GDP growth rate of 5.6% in 2021, many people do not see their living standards improve, with the rising number of unpaid family workers and part-time workers. Result of an additional 3.9 million Filipinos fell into poverty in 2021, according to the Senate Economic Planning Office. The conversation connects to the broader themes of global divides and contemporary governance. Vietnam serves as an example of how good governance can enhance education and economic conditions. The Philippines can learn from such strategies by focusing on fair resource distribution and improving public services. In conclusion, both respondents shed light on the Philippines' status as a developing country. The teachers' focus on economic growth contrasts with the students' emphasis on poverty and lack of access essentials. Together, their insights reveal the urgent need for effective governance to bridge the gap in wealth and opportunities, aligning with global goals for equity and development.
Now we will talk about social media in Filipino global marketing and its influence on religion. Let's start with the role of social media in business marketing. As shown here, the teacher suggests that social media is crucial for business expansion because it reaches large and diverse global audiences, shaping global media cultures. Meanwhile, the student pointed out that it is a tool for building brand awareness and engaging directly with customers on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Together, these insights highlight how social media connects Filipino businesses to global markets. Now let's discuss social media's influence on religion. The teacher acknowledged that despite the rise of online services, many Filipinos still prefer to attend church in person. At the same time, social media has become a platform for global connection, influencing religious practices. The student added that while it might distract some people from attending Mass, it also offers a new space for spiritual discussions. This shows how global media reshapes traditional practices while providing new ways to connect. Finally, let's tie this to global media cultures and religion. Social media is central to global media cultures as it helps businesses connect with global audiences and expand their reach. At the same time, it impacts religion by offering new alternative spaces while challenging traditional practices. These perspectives demonstrate the dual impact of social media on both business and religion in the Philippines.
Based on the results of our survey gathered from both a teacher and a student's perspectives, the movement of people across borders significantly influences global population dynamics. For instance, working abroad for better opportunities due to limited local jobs shapes the perceptions of a teacher and a student differently. While the teacher believes there are many job opportunities but lacks initiatives, the student views job standards as too high and wages too low to meet rising costs. Moreover, deforestation driven by infrastructure development impacts both mobility and sustainability. The teacher highlights its role in global warming while the student focuses on its harm to economic growth and sustainability. Consequently, both agree that development must balance progress with environmental preservation. Furthermore, economic pressures like low wages reflect labor market issues, with the Ibon Foundation 2024 noting that the 440 pesos average daily wage falls far below the 1,207 pesos needed for a family needs. Similarly, the Climate Council 2024 reports global forest loss in 2023 caused 6% of carbon emissions, emphasizing the importance of sustainable development that prioritizes both progress and environmental preservation.
In the global context, the Philippines shows mixed results across key areas like development, political stability, and environmental preparedness. In terms of development, responses were split, with 66.6% rating it as good and another 33.3% seeing it as needs for improvement. This reflects the country's progress in areas like infrastructure and the economy, but it still lags behind the education and rural development compared to more developed nations. Regarding the political systems, 100% of respondents felt it needs for improvement, highlighting concerns over instability, corruption, and a lack of transparency, making it less stable and fair compared to global standards. Similarly, on environmental sustainability and disaster preparedness, 100% rated it as needs for improvement, signaling that while efforts are being made, the country still faces major challenges in disaster response and sustainable practices. Overall, while the Philippines has made progress, it still needs significant improvements in governance, development, and environmental resilience to align with more developed countries.